The Assistant Secretary of State in the Obama administration, Joel Rubin. He's also the author of the briefing book over on Substack. Joel, good morning to you. How big of a deal is this that this went from threats and tough talk to the two men speaking over the phone this week?
Hey, good morning, Marky, and welcome back. Look, this is good news. It's whiplash all the time, of course, with this White House, but the president needs to engage regional leaders like the leader of Colombia because they are stakeholders in everything that comes next, and we are impacted by what happens in their countries. So Colombia's government, it's a strong government. It has resources. Obviously, cocaine is coming from Colombia. It's not as if the Colombian government isn't trying to grapple with it. And I visited Colombia when I worked in the State Department with members of Congress, and they have been fighting the drug traffic for years. So this is a good move and hopefully something constructive coming out of the recent weeks.
And so with the phone call and also the potential meeting at the White House on the horizon, is that indicative that Trump isn't going to pull a Maduro with Petro, or are all bets still on?
Well, I certainly hope he won't. There's a lot of opportunity in the region for the United States, and what we saw in Venezuela by knocking off the kingpin and arresting Maduro, that's just one step, but the regime is still there. We need to work with our allies and partners in the region. We need those who are skeptical of us to understand that we're serious. I think that point has been made, but the United States can't resolve everything with military power alone and just go in and knock out every leader we don't like. It's not sustainable. The people of the country won't accept it. And quite frankly, I don't think the American people are ready to invest the kinds of resources militarily that an occupation in order to militarily force our policy would require. So this type of maneuver with meeting with Petro is welcome news.
We know that members of Congress were briefed last night or yesterday about where things stand this morning. From, just your discussions with your sources there in Washington, is there a coherent blueprint moving forward on a post-Maduro Venezuela, or are outcomes still uncertain?
Yeah, Marky, no, there really isn't. And in a piece I wrote for Substack, I tried to make the argument that Congress needs to step up here right now as well, having a vote about war powers, which is what's going to happen today, and saying no more military action in Venezuela is just not a policy enough. We need to have real vision for what comes next. Maduro is gone. That's reality. Now, what do we do about the oil, the drugs, regional stability, so many other issues? So Congress needs to lay that out, put pressure on the Trump administration to clarify in detail what it is they're trying to achieve, what their plans are. We haven't heard that yet from the Trump team, and I hope that we get to that point.
What's your guess on that? Like, what's the crux of this for Trump? Because there's so many different legs to the story. It's Maduro's out, we're protecting you from drugs, now we're controlling the oil, regime change. What's the crux of it for this White House?
Yeah, it seems like the spaghetti against the wall policy right now, but I do think at the core of it, what we see are two drivers. First, of course, is the oil. As the president consistently says, let's take him at his word. He wants the oil, and he wants that to become a source of revenue for us and for the Venezuelan people. But also there is a broader strategy of regional hegemony, they call it, basically America militarily dominating the region. That's part of his national security strategy. That raises a lot of red flags because it signals to Russia they can dominate Europe, China can dominate Asia, and we return to a foreign policy of 100 years ago, which is very unstable and creates a lot of conflict. That's my concern. I hope we don't go there. I hope we pull back from that and get regional like he's doing with the Colombian president. Yeah. But those, to me, are the two drivers, and that's not a policy that the American people have signed up for.
We'll see where we head from here. I can't remember a news week this busy in a long, long time. Joel Rubin, thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks, Mark.
Have a great Thursday. Well,